Same golden arches, same red box, same crispy little sticks of potato. But here's the thing. The fries you ate in Tokyo do not taste like the fries you ate in Texas. And no, you're not imagining it. You're not crazy. Something is actually scientifically different. So what is it? What's the one hidden ingredient that quietly rewires the taste of the world's most famous fry, country by country? Okay, let's set the scene. You've probably done this yourself without even realizing it. You travel somewhere new. You're jet lagged. You don't want to risk some sketchy street food on day one, so you do what millions of people do. You walk into a McDonald's. It feels safe. It feels familiar. You know exactly what you're getting. Except you don't. Because the second those fries hit your tongue, something feels off. Maybe they're saltier. Maybe they're sweeter. Maybe they're darker, crunchier, oilier, or somehow taste faintly like beef, even though there's no meat anywhere near them. And you think, wait, did I get a bad batch? You didn't get a bad batch. This happens on purpose in almost every country McDonald's operates in. Reddit threads about this blow up every single year. People compare notes from Japan, the Philippines, Germany, India, and they all say the same thing. Our fries taste different, and I can't explain why. Well, today, we're explaining why. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand something most people never think about, that a global product isn't actually global at all. It's being quietly rebuilt, country by country, to match the mouth of whoever's eating it. So let's start with the obvious question. If McDonald's uses the same potato variety, roughly the same size cut, and the same basic recipe worldwide, how does the taste change so much? The answer isn't the potato. It's not even really the seasoning. The biggest variable, the one that changes everything, is the oil. Frying oil isn't just there to cook the potato. It's there to carry flavor. Oil soaks into every microscopic crack in that fry, and whatever fat you use becomes part of the actual taste, not just the texture. Swap the oil, and you're not tweaking the fry a little. You're changing its entire flavor identity. Here's an analogy that makes this click. Think of frying oil like the base note in a perfume. You can spray different perfumes with the exact same top notes, a fruity smell, a floral smell. But if the base note underneath is different, the whole perfume smells like a completely different product by the time it settles on your skin. Oil does the same thing to a fry. And McDonald's knows this better than almost any company on earth. Because back in the day, all of their fries, everywhere, used the exact same base fat. And it wasn't vegetable oil at all. THE, deep dive. For decades, McDonald's fries were cooked in beef tallow. That's rendered beef fat. It's rich. It's savory, and it gives fries this deep, almost meaty backbone of flavor that's genuinely hard to replicate with anything plant-based. People who are old enough to remember the original recipe still talk about it like it was a completely different food. But in 1990, under pressure over saturated fat and heart health concerns in the US, McDonald's switched to 100% vegetable oil. And here's the twist that a lot of people don't know. When they made that switch, they didn't want to lose that signature beefy taste. So they added something called natural flavor to the vegetable oil to recreate it artificially. That single decision, replacing animal fat with vegetable oil, then trying to fake the old flavor back in, is basically the origin point of everything we're talking about today. Because once you accept that fries can be built from a formula instead of a fixed recipe, you've accepted that formula can be adjusted. And once something can be adjusted, of course it gets adjusted differently in different countries. Different countries have different regulations on food additives, different religious dietary rules, different local farming industries that supply oil, different consumer taste preferences built over generations. McDonald's, being one of the most locally adaptive fast food chains on the planet, quietly changes its oil formula to fit all of that. And that's before we even get to the potatoes themselves. THE please. OIL A around THE world. Let's go country by country, because this is where it gets genuinely wild. In the United States, McDonald's fries are cooked in a vegetable oil blend, typically canola, soybean, and hydrogenated oil, with that beef flavor derived from a natural flavor additive that, notably, still contains milk and wheat derivatives, which is exactly why US McDonald's fries are not vegan, even though there's technically no meat listed as an ingredient. Now go to India. This is a country where a huge portion of the population doesn't eat beef for religious reasons, and there's a massive vegetarian population too. So McDonald's in India uses a completely different oil system, no animal-derived flavoring at all, and they run entirely separate vegetarian kitchens in a lot of locations, with different oil fryers to avoid any cross-contact with meat products whatsoever. In the UK and much of Europe, The fries are cooked in sunflower oil or rapeseed oil, giving them a lighter, slightly different aftertaste compared to the American blend. In Japan, McDonald's has run various different oil blends over the years, and Japanese customers have historically been extremely vocal, almost obsessive, about even tiny consistency changes, which has pushed the Japan branch to fine-tune its formula more carefully than almost anywhere else. And here's a fun one: the Philippines. Filipino McDonald's fries have been described by travelers as slightly sweeter and softer than the American version, partly because of local potato sourcing and oil choices, and partly because Filipino fast food palates, in general, lean sweeter across the board. You see this in their spaghetti, their burgers, even their ketchup, which is famously made partly from bananas. Examples: salt, potatoes, and regulations. Oil is the biggest variable, but it's not the only one. Salt levels shift dramatically by country, too. American fries are salted heavily, almost aggressively, right as they come out of the fryer. In parts of Europe, the salt is noticeably lighter, partly due to health-conscious regulations, and partly because European taste preferences trend toward let the food taste like food, not let the food taste like salt. Then, there's the potato itself. McDonald's is famously specific about potato variety. The russet Burbank is the gold standard, prized for its high starch, low sugar content, which gives that perfect golden brown fry with a fluffy inside. But that exact potato doesn't grow everywhere. In countries where it's not locally viable, McDonald's sources the closest match available, and closest match is never a perfect match. This matters more than you'd think, because sugar content in a potato directly affects browning. More natural sugar means the fry caramelizes faster and darker in the fryer, even at the exact same temperature and the exact same time. So 2 batches of fries, cooked identically, can come out looking and tasting different just because the raw potato itself was slightly different at a molecular level before it even hit the oil. And then you've got government regulations layered on top of all of it. Some countries restrict specific preservatives or anti-browning agents that McDonald's uses in the US, like certain forms of dextrose or sodium acid pyrophosphate. If a country bans an ingredient, McDonald's doesn't just remove it and hope for the best. They have to reformulate the entire fry to compensate, which changes color, texture, and yes, taste. Weed, tis, matters, he, beeger, picture. Now here's why this whole thing is actually kind of fascinating beyond just fries taste weird in other countries. McDonald's built its entire global brand on the promise of consistency. The golden arches were supposed to mean the same experience, whether you were in Chicago or Cairo. That's literally the pitch that made the company one of the most recognizable brands in human history. But what we're actually looking at is the opposite of consistency. It's controlled inconsistency. McDonald's isn't failing to standardize their fries. They're deliberately localizing them, country by country, to match regional palates, regional laws, and regional ingredient availability, while keeping the branding, the packaging, and the overall idea of the fry completely identical. And this matters because it says something bigger about how every global company actually operates, whether it's food, tech, or entertainment. True global uniformity is basically a myth. Even something as simple and universal as a French fry gets quietly rebuilt behind the scenes to fit the culture it's being sold into. The illusion of sameness is the product. The reality is constant, invisible adaptation. Think about that next time you assume a worldwide brand is giving you the exact same thing everywhere. Chances are, somewhere in a lab, a food scientist made a very deliberate decision to change something: the oil, the salt, the sugar, the preservative. Specifically because they knew your country's taste buds and your country's laws wouldn't accept the original version. The Most Surprising Twist. So which country has the most surprising fry twist of all? A lot of people guess Japan because of how obsessive their quality control is. Others guess India because of the total absence of beef flavoring. But the one that tends to shock people the most is actually a much simpler story. It comes down to how differently the same fry can taste purely based on doneness and texture preference, not ingredients at all. In several Asian markets, fries are cooked to be noticeably crispier and thinner feeling than the softer, slightly thicker textured fries served in the US. This isn't an accident of different equipment. It's a deliberate response to local snacking culture, where crunch and crispiness are prized far more than the softer, almost bready interior American customers are used to. Meanwhile, in the Philippines, the sweetness angle goes even further than most people realize. It's not just softer potatoes. Filipino McDonald's has, at various points, leaned into sweeter overall flavor profiles across their entire fast food menu, treating fries less like a savory side and more like a genuinely balanced sweet and salty snack, which is a completely different flavor category than how Americans think about a fry. So the twist isn't one single shocking secret ingredient hiding in a vault somewhere. The twist is that there are dozens of tiny, deliberate decisions: oil, salt, sugar, potato variety, frying time, local regulation, all stacked on top of each other. And that stack is different in every single country. The same fry is really more like the same idea of a fry, rebuilt from scratch, again and again, all over the planet. Bringing, IT, Aal Tother. So let's zoom back out. The fries you love, wherever you're from, aren't a fixed recipe being shipped identically to every country on Earth. They're a flexible formula, adjusted constantly for local oil supply chains, local religious and dietary needs, local government food regulations, local potato farming, and even local ideas about what good is supposed to taste like. That's genuinely wild when you sit with it. A French fry, something that feels like the most basic, boring food on the planet, is actually one of the most quietly complex examples of global food engineering you'll ever run into. There are food scientists, agricultural sourcing teams, and regulatory compliance experts all working behind the scenes just to make sure your fries taste right in whatever country you happen to be standing in. And honestly, this is the kind of thing that makes travel so much more interesting once you know about it. The next time you're in a different country and you grab a McDonald's out of pure convenience, don't just eat it on autopilot. Actually pay attention. Taste it. Compare it in your head to what you're used to back home. You are literally tasting a different set of decisions made by a different team for a different culture. Because that's really what this video is about. It's not just about fries. It's about how nothing that feels the same everywhere actually is. Every global product you've ever trusted as consistent has probably been quietly rebuilt behind the scenes to fit you specifically, without you ever realizing it. So here's what I want you to do. Drop a comment right now with the country where you noticed McDonald's fries tasting different. Was it saltier? Sweeter? Crispier? Did it taste weirdly beefy or completely plain? I guarantee the comments on this video are going to turn into one giant, chaotic, worldwide taste test comparison, and honestly, that's my favorite part of making videos like this. If this blew your mind even a little bit, hit that like button, because it genuinely helps this video reach more people who've probably wondered the exact same thing without ever getting an answer. And if you want more videos like this, stuff that takes something totally normal and shows you the hidden system running underneath it, subscribe, because that's basically the whole channel. Because here's the thing. Once you start noticing this pattern with fries, you start noticing it everywhere. Every global product you've ever trusted. Every brand you thought was identical, no matter where you were standing on the planet. It's never really identical. It's just built to feel that way. And that's the real mystery behind the fries. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.